Hi, I'm David. Today's practice will be floor-based. We'll be doing 3 separate sets of stretches for your hips and your shoulders and your spine. We won't be doing any standing poses, so all you really need is a spot on the floor and a pair of bare feet. So when you're ready, just go ahead and sit up as tall as you can. And for the next few moments, close your eyes and then redirect your focus to your breath. And at first, just let your breath be completely normal. Don't try to make it any deeper, any slower, or anything else like that. Just breathe as you normally would. And for the next few moments, just be there on your mat. Now, taking fewer breaths is calming for your nervous system. So today, we'll attempt a roughly 5-second breath retention at the end of every exhale. We'll do a few together, and I'll turn it over to you in case you want to hold your breath out longer or in case you want to shorten the breath retention a bit. Well, for the next few moments, just tune into your breath like you're tuning into a specific radio station. Just redirect all of your focus to the tip of your nose. Let your breath continue to be shallow. And the next time you send out a completely normal exhale, just stop breathing for a few moments. Breathe in. Normal breath out. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shallow breath in. Normal breath out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Normal inhale. Normal exhale. Pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale again. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hold your breath out and continue on your own. If holding for 5 seconds is a bit much, back off to maybe 3. If it's not challenging enough, hold your breath longer. If you find that you need to take a really huge breath after holding your breath out, it's an indication that you're pausing too long. Try to hold just long enough to be challenged, but at the same time, know that afterward you should take a completely normal breath without any deepening whatsoever. And for the next few moments, just pause over and over and over again. As you pause, mentally and physically relax. And allow the pauses to help your mind clear. Just a few more rounds of those breath retentions. And then back to completely normal and natural breaths. Join both hands together in a prayer at your chest. Bring to mind someone you'd like to dedicate today's practice to. And then mentally send that person some good energy. When you're ready, then open your eyes. So today, step to a 4-pointed kneeling position as though you're going to do the cat-cow. And then today we'll begin with a pigeon. So swing your right ankle toward your left wrist until your knee and your shin come down to the floor. Slide your left leg further backwards toward the rear of your mat. If your hip is substantially lifted off the floor, you can always roll completely over onto the right hip. Otherwise, keep your lower back relatively leveled with the ceiling. Take both elbows down to the floor. Lengthen your spine by stretching forward and outward to the top of your head. And then for now, just close your eyes and let your body get really, really heavy. With every exhale, relax downward into the mat. And use the sensation of stretching to stay present. Note all the little muscle fibers that are stretching open. Note all those areas where you feel less sensation. And if at any given point your mind wanders and you just forget about your stretch, notice and mindfully redirect. As you continue to hold, slide your shoulder blades away from your ears so that your neck feels just a bit longer. And let the weight of your rib cage, all the weight of your chest, continue sinking down. Now gradually walk your hands backwards. Shift back to the four-pointed kneeling position as though you're going to do a cat-cow. And then take the same posture on the other side. Swing your ankle toward your wrist. Slide your rear leg backwards. Remember, if you want to modify, you can physically roll your hip over to the floor. Otherwise, keep your lower back relatively leveled with the ceiling. And lean forward onto your elbows again. In this one, the rounded spine isn't that big of a deal, but you get a slightly deeper stretch and more effective stretch if you bring some length to the posture. So stretch forward with the top of your head till your spine feels really, really long. Settle down into it. And let your eyes close so you can truly focus more attention inside. Breath by breath, just pay close attention to your inhales and exhales. The sensation of stretching. And with that focus, take your mind away from other things for a while. And breath by breath by breath, just do your best to relax. Now, sometimes when your elbows are placed on the floor, the shoulders naturally slide up around your ears. So slide them down your back toward your hips. Just like a turtle poking his head out of its shell, stretch the top of your head forward a bit more. And let your chest get heavy, heavy, heavy to put some more weight in your leg. And walk your hands back and place them under your shoulders. Get back to the four-pointed kneeling stance. And then this time lower all the way down to your belly. Now for the moment, lift your chest a little higher. Walk your left arm across your midline over toward the right-hand side of the mat. You're trying to keep your left arm straight, and you're attempting to place your arm directly under your collarbones. And once you've done that, lift your chest just a little higher, which will reduce the shoulder opening stretch. Alternatively, let your body's weight settle down really, really slowly onto the arm. And try to roll your right chest around and down toward the floor and just get really, really heavy in your chest. And this time, take some slow inhales and some slow exhales. And let your deepened breath help to facilitate a deeper stretch. Let the weight of your head settle down as well and just relax. Now lift your chest all the way upward and off of your arm. Just to get it out of the way, place your left hand in the push-up position. And then crawl your right arm across your center line. Sort of wiggle your fingertips over to your side until your arm is placed right below your collarbones. If your left chest rolls up, you lose stretch, so try to roll your left chest around and down. If your right shoulder lifts off the floor a little bit, that's okay, so long as your elbow remains on the floor. Now remember, if you want to reduce the stretch, you can lift your chest higher. And if you wish to increase the stretch, just let your chest drop down. Choose how deeply you want it to drop. Once you find enough sensation to take your mind off of other things, just focus on stretching and breathing. Soften your face and jaw as you continue to hold the stretch. Now lifting up through your chest, and plant your hands near the base of your ribs. For just a moment, press back to the cat-cow position. This time, roll completely over onto your hip and slide both legs initially forward toward the front of your mat. Now from here, we'll twist. So cross your left ankle over your right leg and place your foot just outside of the right knee. Once you've done that, wrap your right elbow around the left knee itself so you can pull the leg to vertical. Now spin your belly around the leg. Place your left hand behind you. Take your hips out of square by sliding your left hip just a bit further back. And as you twist, gaze backward over your shoulder. Slow inhales and slow exhales. Try to keep your knee at vertical as you continue to twist and spin. Completely up to you, but if you want to go a bit further, physically hook your elbow over the leg and use that to leverage just a little more twist. Still, even now, gaze backward over your shoulder behind. Same twisting posture on the other side. Switch your leg's position so that the right leg crosses over, and you place your foot just outside of your knee. Slide your right sitting bone back just slightly. Pull your belly around the leg to deepen the spinal twist. And initially, grab a hold of your right knee with your left elbow. Pull the leg upwards to vertical, and then gaze backward over your shoulder behind as you twist your spine. Deep inhales and deep exhales will almost always help you to create some space inside. Some days it feels really great to continue hugging that leg into the body. If you want a little more leverage, you can always attempt to hook your elbow over the leg. And then from there, you can pull backward with your elbow just a little bit to deepen your spinal twists. If that proves to be too much, come back to the previous form of the posture and just keep twisting. And deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And release the twist to transition to the next posture, initially back to the cat-cow kriya position. Once you've gotten to there, step your left foot all the way forward to the front of the mat into a lunging posture. Slide your right foot a little further backward. Make sure your front knee is directly above your ankle and the shin vertical. Place the top of your rearmost foot on the floor. And then for the moment, just start out with really straight arms. Slide your shoulders toward your belt and let the weight of your hips settle down toward the ground. Now, option 2 is a bit more intense, so feel free to stay as you are if you've already got enough intensity. Otherwise, take your right elbow all the way down to the floor. Grab a hold of your left foot with your right hand. And take your left hands to your bent-legged knee. And as you twist softly left, let your hips sink straight down toward the ground. Again, if that's too much, come back to the previous option with straight arms instead. And again, just like before, breathe deeply. Let your hips settle down toward the floor. It's like a burlap sack filled with stones or rocks. If your elbow is on the floor, press all the way back up to 2 straight arms. Swing the leg back to the cat-cow kriya position. And then swing your other leg forward to the front. Sometimes you'll need to slide your rear leg backward just a little bit to get your hips in position so that your right knee is right above the ankle. Now, with 2 arms placed on the floor, stretch your hip flexors and your hamstrings by letting your hips settle downwards. Gradually and slowly, of course. Now, some days this whole elbow to the ground thing doesn't work, so if today is not your day, hold out where you are. Otherwise, take your left elbow to the earth, reach across and grab a hold of your foot. Now, if you're going for that variation, take your right hand to your knee, rotate and twist your torso open to the side, and just let your hips continue sinking down, down, down toward the ground. This one's a little more active than the previous option, but even so, try to relax. If you find a spot that's sort of resistant to the stretch, mentally try to let go there. Just feel it softening like a pool of melting candle wax. Continue getting heavy in your hips. Elbows on the ground, place your hands upon the earth, press all the way back up to the straight arm position. Back to cat-cow kriya position. And this time all the way down to your stomach. Your shoulder is next, so reach your right arm all the way out to your side and turn your palm upwards to face the roof. Place your left hand in the push-up position, then bend your left leg, rolling onto the right-hand side of your body, and just to touch your toes to the floor behind you. If that doesn't work, you can keep your feet together and just roll softly onto the right side. And if it did work, you can always try to deepen by touching your heel to the floor. Try to point your left knee straight upward in the air to the ceiling, which will also help you twist, and keep breathing. If possible, look up, but if that's really uncomfortable for your neck, look sideways or down instead. All the way back down to the earth. Now, when you reach your left arm out to the side, make sure it's parallel to the front of your mat. Turn your palm up to face the ceiling. With your right hand in a push-up position so you have some pressing support, bend your right leg, flip all the way onto the left-hand side of your body, try to touch your toe to the floor. Remember, if you want to modify, you can take legs together. If you want to take it a slight bit deeper, touch your heel to the floor. Keep swiveling and pressing your knee upwards toward the roof. Gaze upward just like before, unless you looked sideways or down as an alternative. Try to relax the areas that are resisting the stretch. And this time, roll yourself all the way back down to the floor. Now, for your spine, the cobra stretch. Start out with the Sphinx, just in case your lower back is a bit sensitive. Prop yourself up on your elbows and make sure your elbows are right under your armpits. Now, it's always good to elongate your spine, so press your elbows down into the earth. Attempt to pull them back until you feel your chest sliding and pulling forward. And then for the next few moments, slide your shoulders down and lift upwards through your collarbones to deepen the back bend. Take attention to any of your back muscles that may be feeling really tense, and just try to soften them a little bit mentally. Now, the full cobra can be a little intense on the lower back, so I would counsel you to stay where you are if you have any lower back sensitivity. Otherwise, if it feels totally okay, start elongating your arms a bit at a time until they go straighter or straight. That oftentimes shrug your shoulders up, so slide them down. And then gently pulling back with your hands, lift up through your collarbones and breathe into it. Slow inhales and slow exhales. If your arms are straight, try to squeeze your elbows toward your midline. And as your arms lock out, sometimes you'll be better able to support your weight. If your arms are bent and it's a bit too much to stay upright, feel free to, of course, take your elbows back down to the floor instead. In fact, for now, take them all the way back down to the floor. Now we'll move back to your quadriceps. So when you're ready, slide your legs just a bit further apart and parallel your left forearm to the front of your mat. Bend your right leg, reach back with your right hand, and grab your foot near your toes and initially draw it closer to your body. Now, if you can sort of sneak your hand around to the top of the foot so your fingers face your ankles, do so. And press your foot down until you feel stretch across the front of your leg. Now, it's altogether optional, but if you've gotten that far and you can spiral your fingers around till they face the toes, do so and press your foot down just a bit more. And tuck your tail, roll it under until you feel more stretching across the front of your leg. A few more really slow breaths. Now let your foot come back down to the earth. Bend your other leg. Once you've done so, reach your hand over the top of your foot. If you're not able to quite point your elbow to the ceiling yet, drawing your heel closer to your body will give you a great stretch. Alternatively, if you are going to put your hand on the top of the foot, make sure your fingers face your ankle and press down. If you do that, you'll also get some opening in your chest muscles. The final option is to spiral your fingers around till they face the toes as you keep pressing down. Slow, deep breaths and a tuck of the tail until you feel more stretch in the front of your left leg. And let go of the stretch. And then into your shoulders. And press all the way up to the cat-cow create position. Now today we'll take the puppy dog. So shift your hips back a little bit till your thighs feel more vertical. And then walk your hands all the way forward. And with straight arms, let your elbows sink closer to the floor. Look forward toward your fingertips. If you can place your forehead on the earth, take it all the way down and or your chin. Then breath by breath by breath, just like gravity, pull your spinal column closer to the ground beneath. Relax deeply and breathe. And press down through your arms to lift up. Rock your hands all the way back so that your shoulders are right above the wrists. And then for your spine, round your back like a cat. Roll your tail under and curl your chin into your chest. Arch your spine in the other direction with your inhales. And continue back and forth like that. Exhales for the rounding and inhales for the arching. Huge breaths out. And huge breaths in as well. And finally, roll back around to a seated cross-legged position of some type. Let your hands rest on your legs or in your lap in some supportive, comfortable way. Close your eyes and redirect all of your focus to your body. Sense any differences or changes that you might be experiencing on the inside. And then just as we did at the beginning, breathe normally with no deepening of the breath at all. And pause for around 5 seconds at the end of your every exhale. 3 seconds if that's too much, or more if it's too little. And every time you pause, mentally and physically relax. If you're able to pause longer for the next few rounds of breath retention, do so. And breathe normally again. Join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Remember the person you dedicated your practice to, and to pray for or wish for their happiness and their health. Take a moment to be grateful for the gift of another day. If you wish, repeat after me. May all sentient beings everywhere experience peace.